something in the mail a little while ago that I want to show you guys. So what this is from Mr. Dave Banter, and this is his own home collection of his videos that he's taped, things that he's done while pulling. So check this out. I've already gone through these and kind of labeled them, but this is what we've got. We've got about probably 25 DVDs here. Some of them are copies, but he's given me permission to release these. So the first one I'm going to do it by year. I'm going to start with the earliest and go to the latest. But the first one I'm going to do, is going to be this Banter Brothers special, or the Hidden Hero special, that I used a lot of the video from this on his first video. And then this one from 74 has no sound to it. So I'm going to go to his house and sit down with him and watch this video and have him identify who's in this video, because I only know a couple of these guys. We've got that. There's a couple copies here of the same thing, but Hamburg, New York, the Knox History, 83 Indy Super Pole, 85 Indy Super Pole, 87 Fort William Bloomsburg, 1990 Tilma, 91 Chapel Hill, 90 Pocono. Let's kind of go up here. 91 Indy Super. This is a copy of that. 91 Inwood. Another 91 Inwood. That may be a copy. 92 Fort Recovery in Chapel Hill. 94 Enderley in Columbus, Ohio. 94 Chapel Hill. 94 Inwood. 94 Inwood, 94 Inwood, and then 95 Toma. So as I put these out, I'm going to label them Dave Banter Home Video Collection, so he gets the credit for it. Some of this is on TV and has been out already, but some of it you may not have seen recently. So that's what we're going to be putting out over the next probably couple of years, I guess, for this stuff. So I just want to thank Mr. Banner for sending me these and entrusting me with these. So we're going to get them out so everybody can see them. I also wanted to show you this too. This is all from Dave Seeger, who ran PI pulling. Most of this is 80s pulling, almost all of it. And I've gone through a lot of it, starting to digitize it, and we're going to be putting this stuff out too. This is all Jim and Julie Kramer's tapes. A lot of this is home stuff. Some Bigfoot that I can't really release because it's their property, but I love doing this stuff. If you guys have, or any family members know of any VCR tapes that are laying around that they don't know what to do with or can't get digitized, please send them to me, and I'll do it for free as long as I can use the footage. That way we can share this with everybody, and not home personal stuff, but the pulling stuff or old racing videos or anything like that. So let me know. Send me a message. Either I'll put my email address down here, or you can contact me at Rob Guy's Garage on Facebook. Send me a message, and I love going through these tapes and stuff. Today we're going to start with the Banter Brothers Hidden Heroes.
It's the purse. In the modified class, each multi-engine monster is a tribute to American mechanical creativity. This is Dave Bowman. Join me as we meet the men behind this burly six-engine beast, the famous Banter Brothers. Fort Recovery, Ohio is in the heart of tractor pulling country. It's the site of the NTPA Summer Nationals, the event closest to home for the Banter brothers. Late Saturday afternoon, Dave and Ralph Banter relax in the July heat by watching the other classes compete. Their 9,200-pound modified class will be the last to run. These two racers have a unique relationship.
Me and my brother's probably the only two brother teams left, but boy, ours I feel like has really been unique in a way, because I don't like to drive, and I won't drive. I mean, I believe if David didn't want to drive for us, I would probably quit and just build parts for people. But he does like to do that, and I like to make the parts for him, and he's getting in where he likes to make the chassis and he tunes the motor. My brother, he does the building, and well, he used to do all the building and the designing them all together, and now that I went into it full time, I'm helping him build. But he does a lot of this gearbox work, coupler work, dry shaft work and stuff, where that shaft has to be special made that goes back through there, because you just can't go to the store and buy this stuff. All this stuff has to be made, and that's his main thing is dry shafts, gearboxes, transmissions, which you can't see in there, but the transmission and the rear ends. And the rear end is like a center section now, like a semi truck. And then on the outside, we have a big planetary Caterpillar deal. And this is what Ralph specializes in. I pull tractors to sell my parts, basically, is what it amounts to. I love to make up things that nobody else have. And if I do, and if I win with them and compete good with them, of course, they're going to want them also if they're going to stay in the game. And this is what I've done for 10 years.
Ralph lives in the little town of Banco, Indiana. He's been involved in tractor pulling for almost as long as it's been an organized sport.
I started just like everybody else did. I started with an old farm tractor, and I had an old flathead Ford V8, and I stuck it in there. And the first pull I went to, I never even had a truck to carry it on. I drove it to the tractor pull down the road, you know. And I went in there and I pulled, and I enjoyed it, and I've been back ever since. When we started in tractor pulling, we used farm tractors, but the parts in them would not withstand the horsepower it took to compete in national tractor pull. The biggest thing that we broke in the tractors were the rear end housings, the rear end gears themselves, and the transmissions in the tractors. So in return, we tried to manufacture or start making a rear end that would hold the power and pull the load that we pull today to compete. And this is mainly what I do, is just literally take the truck rear end and get the planetaries off of a Caterpillar and cut them down and put the spindles on and make the axles and make a unit strong enough to hold a 6-motor tractor. We've got a length rule, a tire size, and a weight. That's the only limitations we have got. Anything else we can come up with, you can do, and that's why we call it a modified tractor. You can just, as long as you stay within the...
Let's see here. Well, welcome to Let's Go Pulling Monday night, November 24th. Rob's Guys Garage. Rob Reed from Lake Villa, Illinois, joining us tonight. So let us know where you're watching from in the comments right now. We were sharing one of his YouTube videos that he had there. Go check out Rob's Guy. It's Rob's Guy Garage on YouTube and Facebook, and I'll put the link in there as well. Rob, how long? I need to know what got you into this, because it's awesome. I found your YouTube channel a while ago, and people will send me videos from it to watch and stuff like that. But tell us a little bit about yourself and how we got to this point where you wanted to, dig up some of this history for us.
Okay. Well, I grew up about a half hour from the Buck in PA, one of probably the biggest well-known pulling places in the East Coast. So my dad would take me there. And then when you were a kid when the SRO stuff started coming around, the Alan Gaines, the Gary Collins, all that stuff, they would come to the indoor shows once a year. And we would see them either in Baltimore or Philly. And at that time, I was ever since I was a kid, I've loved trucks. I still have the first book my mom ever read me, and it was A Day in the Life of a Trucker. And I still have that book and just loved trucks since I was a kid. And then when this
pulling and monster truck stuff came around, and when you could sit in an arena and have pickup trucks with massive engines indoors, it was just awesome, you know. And then of course you got the tractors with multiple engines, and it was just something that we'd never seen before ever. And you know, of course that just kept going and going and going. And so one day, so I drive a semi for UPS and get a couple of vacations. So
Not now.
No, from here on out, we're busy. Yeah, we're busy. But so my daughter, I've always wanted to see the Orange Blossom Special again since I was a kid. Just love that truck. My favorite truck. I've got the poster in my garage up here that always goes up my garage first of it. And I think Alan signed it, but it's so faded I can't even find his signature on it. But so I've always wanted to see it again, and knew that it was in Tennessee at one point or in Kentucky. And I'm like, my girls don't want to drive 9 hours to go see a truck, right? So I grew them up for about 20 years. And then I'm sitting on the couch on a Sunday night with my wife, and I said, whoa, wait, this is the first week coming up. I'm on vacation, and we don't have to do a family vacation because one's in college and one's working full time. So I looked at my wife and I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go find that Orange Blossom Special. She's like, what? So I said, I'm going to do it. So a couple hours of research, I found the name of Carrie in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Yep. No, I didn't even have Eddie's name. I just had Carrie in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, and that was it. So I got up Monday morning, drove 6.5 hours to Lawrenceburg, Kentucky to try to find this truck. And I drive all the way down there. So I find Carrie's Automotive. So I drove there. I got there about 4:00, and there's a big padlock across the door. I'm like, no way. 6.5 hours for a padlock. So I looked next door. There was a little 3-bay automotive shop. And I went in there and I said, okay, this is going to sound kind of crazy, but I'm looking for a truck I've loved since I was a kid. You know, supposedly this last name of Carrie owns it. It's supposed to be in this town. And she's like, oh, hang on a second. She goes, hands me the owner's phone number. And I was like, no way. So I called up Eddie Carey. He's like, come on over and look at it. Gave me 3 hours with it. And that started this whole thing.
Awesome. Yeah, I remember the Orange Blossom Special as a kid. If any of you watching, Logan, you're still just a kid, so you don't remember the Orange Blossom Special like we do. But I had the toy. I got to watch it in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and my dad took me to polls, and I watched it pull multiple times. And then, of course, I know Eddie Carey now. He owns TNT Truck and Tractor Pull, and he actually makes some passes with it at his Lexington pull in January every year. It's pretty neat to see it back out, or to see it live again, because that's such a vivid childhood memory for me, Rob. So
for sure, yep, me too. So we go to Kentucky every year for January, so I can see it again, sit in it. And of course, the other guys, Keith Ryan and Dale Glass, that have that truck right there. We've done interviews with them now, gone all over that thing. So I like to spend about an hour or two just super detailing these trucks, so that if anything happens to them, we have it all on good quality video. And it's a good thing I did, because if you saw the Gary Collins video, that was a real.
He lost that in a fire, right?
Yeah, and I was the last guy to sit in it. And 2 days before I put the video out with him in it in his shop, he texted me and says the Bud Boss is gone. And I'm like, what do you mean it's gone? He's like, it melted to the ground last night. I'm like, oh. So that has really encouraged me to we've got to get this stuff that we all loved as kids on video and preserve it for history.
Tommy Reed.
Gosh, that was a beautiful truck.
Oh, yeah.
Tommy Reedy is somebody I know from out west that pulls 2-wheel drive truck, and they have a 4-wheel drive with his wife. But he said, I saw the Orange Blossom Special at the Kingdom up in Seattle back in the 80s when it pulled up there one time. So that's neat to see. Yeah. Hey guys, you need to go check out Rob Guy's Garage on YouTube. I'm just sharing some of these videos so you can jump in and see them. He spends a lot of time and effort running around. I love this because this is true media. This is true getting out there and not just standing at the end of the track filming a pulling vehicle coming down the track. you're telling the history of it. I love this, Rob. Thank you. And then I wouldn't have met you with it been for Logan, and we're going to get into the Make and Bacon special here in a second. But I kind of wanted to tell this backstory. We slotted you for an hour. So come on, guys, let the questions get in here. We'll ask them to Rob, and then Logan, it's time for me to shut up and you start talking to Rob, okay? So
Well, I think we can get that done there, Jason. Pipe in when you want, but let's get this rolling. So, Rob, first of all, let's kind of talk about, looking at the sport as a whole, how it's developed over these years, from the early beginnings to some of the big names of the Banter brothers, and just huge pullers along the way, getting to where we are today. What do you think was kind of the best era in polling?
Well, for me, it was mid 80s when all this stuff started coming out. I mean, obviously, polling's been going on since like the 50s, I think, late 50s into the 60s, into the 70s. But, I was born in 70, so I'm 55 now. So we kind of grew up with the, like that, like the Three Stooges and Wally Harble. And I've got my picture next to the Blue Max as a kid, and I was really hoping to remake that picture, but he doesn't have the truck anymore. So my favorite era is that I try to get like 80s to 2000 is like my favorite era.
So along that time, we saw some massive polls throughout the Indy Super Bowl, big indoor events, outdoor events. Really, the sport kind of flourished in that 1980s to 2000s. What do you think? Not that the sport's kind of gone away, but to draw the older people, the Hall of Famers, as Jason would put it, kind of back into the sport and how it's evolved to today.
Well, that's what I'm hoping to do with this. So I'm hoping I get to meet, and I got to meet some incredible people doing this with the Jaskes and Bargies and Gary Collins and Banners and Mike Galloway. And I just can't believe what's happening with I was the kid in the stands getting to watch these guys, and now I'm getting to see them, interview them, and have them as a contact in my phone. I just can't believe it, And it's just amazing, I think, what's happening. So hopefully that will get them back into it too. And I want to get the younger kids into it too, to see where the sport came from. And I just like your name of your podcast. I want to grow pulling because it's too cool of a sport to not be better known,
Exactly. No, seeing where the sports come from, that always interests me, because it seems nowadays you can get stuck in a rut of very cookie cutter vehicles, but you look towards the past and boy, how they were bolting engines on anywhere they could, and just the true pioneers of the sport. So you mentioned there your favorite vehicle was the Orange Blossom being your first. What kind of what do you think is that your favorite project that you've done, or have you had more projects that was more of a search than what the original Orange Blossom Special was?
Oh yeah, we've had some searches. So I love finding trucks and tractors that are sitting in the weeds, seeing where they're at today. So one of my favorite ones was the finding the Blue Ox of Bud Jaske. That was that video. I love that one. And the funny thing is, been looking for it for a year and a half or 2 years. It ended up being 7 minutes from my house, sitting in the weeds for 15 years. Unreal, right?
Yes.
So we did end up finding it through a bunch of clues. It's almost like going on a scavenger hunt, where that story right there is incredible, because there was some Facebook posts, and I had a guy named Mike Krieger who really helped me with this, gave me like Craigslist posts from when it was lost, who had it last. So making a lot of calls, like doing a lot of like almost like detective work, and then finding out that it was the pictures. You look in the background, a lot of the pictures, that gives you a lot of clues. So this one, there was a lot of cut wood, firewood in the background. So I knew there was like firewood, there was other stuff, and I found just by searching around, the guy that had that firewood pile had some other vehicles in the background of other pictures. And then in those pictures was a water tower. And this water tower had two antennas on top of it. One was like taller than the other. So I happen to have a buddy who works at the water department. So I sent him a picture of this water tower and said, "Hey, where is this?" And he told me which one it was. We were able to go to the water tower, look at it, tell that we were on the wrong side of the water tower from the way the antennas were, switched around to the other side, drive down the road. I see a small sign that says firewood. I'm like, no way. So we turn in the driveway, ask the lady if I can go into her backyard where this place was, and she says yes. And there it was, sitting in the weeds.
Wow.
I mean, just crazy stuff's happening. It's so much fun. So
No, 100%. We get Antone here asking about Ron Perry and the widely known solid junk tractor.
okay.
I think that'd be an interesting interview. What do you think?
Well, we've already interviewed Ron.
Oh,
Yeah. So that will be coming. So I'm backlogged probably about 6 months on videos right now. So who's coming out like next is going to be, we just had the tractor with Jill, the Make and Bacon special. And the next will be the Bargies. We did an interview with them and their family. Milt Bergman's coming up. Dusty and Tim Arfons, we've spent time with them. And then the Bigfoot guys, Bob Chandler and Marilyn at their house, and Jim and Julie Kramer at their house. And yeah, I'm backlogged on videos for sure. So it takes about 25 hours to get the first video out with editing and research and just to put one of those together.
yep. So we talked a little bit there. We can talk some more on it. You've been doing this for how many years?
Right about 3 years now. I've had the YouTube channel for about 4 or 5 years, but the pulling stuff came along when I went and found that orange blossom about 3 years ago.
Yep. How many vehicles and different people along your travels have you interviewed?
Oh man. Well, I've got 246 videos up on my channel. Probably about 40 to 50 interviews now altogether, that even the ones that haven't come out. And
Wow.
finding vehicles has been about 10, I think, something like that.
That's awesome to see. That's some dedication to the whole sport there.
Oh yeah, this year we've done 11,000 miles of driving for these interviews and looking for trucks and tractors.
That's getting up there with as many miles as what we travel in a summer going pulling. So wow.
Yeah, I love it though. It's so much fun. So, and I appreciate everybody that watches the videos. It really helps because that does pay for the hotel rooms, the food, the gas. So yeah, it's great.
So yeah, that's just awesome. Let's talk about your most recent publication here.
Okay.
We were definitely very surprised seeing that come out because this tractor has been lost for some time, and you'll see every once in a while someone pop up and ask where it's at, where it went, kind of deal. So how'd you really decide to go down the road with talking to Jill and going after the Make and Bacon special?
Well, what I'm trying to do is get to the older people first before something happens. So, and Jill, she commented on one of the videos. So that's really how I find a lot of people is I read all the comments. I try to respond to all the comments and I see who gives a thumbs up to the video. And a lot of the contacts I'm able to get is looking through those And then I saw that Jill, like, gave a thumbs up to probably one of the bargee pictures or something on Facebook. So I messaged her and I said, hey, would you be interested in doing a video? And she says yes. And it's amazing how many of these people say yes. I don't think I've had anybody yet that I've asked to do a video say no. And it's just, I'm so grateful that they're willing to give me that time, sit down with me. And then this video you see here with Jill, she had her daughter and son-in-law, Sean, of the Jansen family, Russ Jansen, and the Blackhawks special. She gave me all the time. So I didn't know if she had the tractor or not at the time when we did this. So we videoed this back in May. So I really don't know when I go to a lot of these places if they have it or not. It's a surprise to me. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, that was definitely really awesome seeing where the tractors come from, the progression through the years, and really, I've never talked to Jill. Dad's talked to her and Bruce when Bruce was still around, and that was a really sad day when Bruce left this great earth because he was a phenomenal man with stuff.
Yep.
But truly is awesome what you're doing, trying to get this stuff documented, because one day it's not going to be there.
Exactly. Yep. And a lot of this history, like when someone passes, their family members might not care about it. So who knows how much stuff's been thrown in the dumpster over the years, if their kids aren't into it, don't appreciate it. The pictures, the videos, all that stuff is gone, so that's what I'm trying to get to. A lot of these people preserve all these pictures like you see here. I mean, that's 1975 Bruce Hutcherson pictures. You're not going to get that from anywhere else other than going to their house and these people are nice enough to let me in, and I'm basically a stranger to them, which is another unbelievable thing to me too. So I really appreciate Jill and everything they did for us that day.
Chris Kilbarger wants to know when we're going to find the Studley Studebaker and the Chevy National.
Okay, well, the Studley Studebaker, those guys are on my list for sure. I mean, I have a huge list now of probably 100 people to go interview and find. And the Chevy National, I've talked to the guy that has the body. We just got to get over to him and see it. But I think it's been changed it's been repainted to a different paint scheme. But yeah, we'll be getting out there one day.
That's awesome. It sounds like you got a ton of good contacts to go through. You talk about getting through the older vehicles first. What's some of the oldest vehicles that you've tracked down and traced?
Well, let's see. We've done let me just go through the Orange Blossom was probably one of the oldest, and then the Bud Jaske's Blue Ox was another old one. We did find Bud Jaske's Golden Ox, the tube frame truck. And so even with the Jaskes, they let us come to their facility, interview Bud and Steve. They were so nice. And then they gave us the name of the guy that had the Golden Ox truck, which was a groundbreaking truck with its tube frame and 4-cam engine, and the areas that they made out of that. And it was so cool when that guy lifts that garage door and there's the Blue Ox and it's got dust all over it. And I just love that stuff. That it's still around,
Wow.
Yeah.
So you travel to all these places. Let's talk about a little bit more about kind of the second part of figuring out where this Making Bacon special is today. So, I think most of the podcast guys know that it currently resides back here in Kansas with us. But what's kind of your process of going through, you come up with your vehicle and then going through and researching it?
Well, mainly it's because I knew about it from when I was a kid, and then you lose touch with these people. It really has to do with time. I've talked to like probably said like 100 people that are ready to do videos. It's just time management. If they're healthy enough, some people have to postpone because they run into health issues, and I respect that. So, like, let's just say Bobby Johns. I was gonna, with the Kool-Aid Kid, the 2-wheel drive super modified. I was gonna interview him last summer, but then he had a health issue, so he's postponed till later this summer. It just depends on like my vacation schedule, because we take a lot of our vacations now, me and my wife, and then she goes with me a lot, and we do these together. And she's a great help with like, sitting there talking with the wives. If I'm talking to the husband, brings a great side to it. And then it just depends on, it's really timing. If the people have time and they're not on vacation, see, a lot of these older people go to Florida for the winter. So it's tough to schedule stuff when I actually have time too. So it's just a scheduling who's available really next. So.
Wow. So out of your list, we talked about your kind of build up of videos for the next 6 months or so. Who's going to be your next interview that you're traveling out to meet?
Well, we don't have one set up yet, but there's, like I said, there's about 100. So it kind of comes down to who's available next. So we just did a puller reunion with about 82 of these guys and girls. And a lot of them are local, like Rob Fuchs with the First Blood monster truck. Deborah Donay. She's close to me. She's only about 45 minutes away. So after, like I said, with my work schedule, I won't be able to do anything till January. And then we're going to the polls in Kentucky in January. So I'll start setting stuff up like the 1st of January to see who's available. So it'll be probably somebody like Brenda Donay or someone local to me within like an hour or two. And we got Phil Tristan with the monster truck. He's only about 3 hours away. So it's just timing and scheduling to see who's going to be next.
Yeah. Wow. Gosh, just listen to the conversation with this, and then goodness, watching that beautiful Make and Bacon special pull. That tractor is truly something special there.
Hey, Rob, you talked about like people like kids, not interested in it, and you're probably throwing stuff away. I heard you say that, and the thing that makes me sick to my stomach, I love Allison engines, Allison, the modified tractors. And I was just out at the Outlaw banquet, and the aughts are kind of the Allison gods with Bollingers, and I was told by my grandpa that after the war, the military was just dumping these Allisons into the ocean. You know what I mean? And I was just like, no. I mean, if you could talk about finding a shipwreck, not that you could use any of it anymore, but I just had to pipe in and say that. So this is so cool. I love all the comments tonight, people watching your videos, and I love your passion for this project, Rob. You're
gonna love the Milt Bergman video then, because he's got a blown up Allison in there that he showed us, and he's got 2 tractors. He still has both of his rambunctious tractors with twin Allisons on them, and we go over those with a fine tooth comb. And Milt was so much fun to be around. Here's one little thing about the video with Milt. So he built his own blow off valves for the turbo. So what he did was, and he did everything as cheaply as possible, and he showed me this. I had to beg him to show me the front driver tractor, and he didn't want to. I'm like, come on, man, I really want to see it. He's like, all right. He's like, there's so much junk piled over it. So we did get to see it, and obviously it was changed to the rear driver configuration, but he still has it. And he was showing me the blow-off valve, how he would make it. He would take the pipe coming off of it, drill a hole into it, take like an exhaust valve, and the seat, weld a little riser onto the top of the pipe, the same diameter as a valve seat. Then he would drop the exhaust valve down through that, put a spring on the bottom, and that was his blow-off valve.
That's awesome.
And we have all that on video. I mean, just stuff like that is, it's priceless to be with these guys and see this stuff again. I'm just having so much fun with it.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yep.
Me and
So
Jason
Logan,
mentioned
it's
there.
been fun watching our numbers. Like we normally have about 100 people live between Facebook and YouTube. We're at 150 now, and it's been funny. Like I think as people are realizing what we're talking about, the numbers are just going up. So it's cool to have people on like this and talk about these stories. It's neat.
Yeah.
I just absolutely love it. So
Awesome. Oh,
I
well,
know-
are we going to see that making bacon out this summer?
We might have to at this point. We might have to do a couple things, and she might come back out this summer. It was super awesome to see what some of these high level organizations are doing with some polling stuff. So we might be making a return.
I would hope a
wanna
lot
know-
of these.
Oh, sorry, Rob. Go ahead.
No, I would hope a lot of these people that, like, let's just say you go to Toma. It would be neat to have whoever has stuff to bring it out there and just have it for an exhibition. And if it'll make a pass, let them make an exhibition pass. I think that would be so. I think it would draw a lot of crowds back in if you could get that kind of stuff there. You know,
Is the Legend Series still going decent, Rob? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I've heard that at Bowling Green they have a Legend Series, and there's going to be a big deal there either this year or next year.
So in 2016 at the 50th, they pulled every Legend tractor they could.
Oh, nice.
I got let's see here, 4 or 5 guys. Mike Ott brought an old tractor out, the old the one with the I can't remember what it's called, the War something. Oh shoot! And then Kevin Dick had something, and we brought him to Richland Center like in 2011 or 2012, and brought him into our fall event, and they brought 4.
Yeah, it would be. I would just love to see even like the Golden Ox that's sitting in storage just to bring it to.
And I need.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Jason's internet's being weird.
Oh, okay.
Okay. You guys keep talking. I'm gonna find this.
No, that's just awesome. Jason mentioned they're picking up Allisons for dirt cheap. I remember Dad telling me a story where you could just go to any Army surplus store and pick those things up for pennies on the dollar, hundreds of bucks kind of deal.
Yeah.
So it's sad there's not more of those left. Let's catch up on a couple of these comments here. Have you found any vehicles out of the state of Texas?
I talked to Holland, Eddie Holland, who's doing all the cool T-shirts and everything now.
Yep.
So one of my goals is to get down there and see those guys and Manuel Marino's truck. I think their family still has that. And so make even contacts down there, but that's probably 14, 15 hours one way, without flying. So.
Yep. No, that's awesome.
What I have is I've taken like every vehicle I can find and put it on a list and where it is so that I know if somebody calls me up or wants to do something, I have a list of almost every pulling vehicle and maybe who has it now or who had it back in the 80s so that when I go through this list, if I'm in Indiana, I can go through my Indiana list and say, hey, this is only 2 hours away. Let's go try to find Judy Knipstein or something like that, So hitting as many places, I guess that's the UPS guy in me, making as many stops as possible in an hour. So that's probably where that comes from. So
we usually have Randy Fishbaugh of OSTPA on, and he called me a little bit before we got on here and said that he needed to make some trucking runs. So he's out being the UPS Santa Claus tonight.
Yeah, I mean, there's even that Mountain Dew truck that's in Ohio where it was, I would love to find that again. The Bowdens with the Studley Studebaker, and there's just so many, so many.
Yeah. No, I think there's still a lot around. It's just figuring out where they've gone to. Yep. That's what I love. I love the search for that stuff. And then a lot of people give me clues all the time. So there's so many people that have helped me. I mean, I especially want to thank Dan Mayer for letting me use his clips and his videos, and Charles Posch also. Those two guys have been my biggest help, I think, with all of this, just for information, letting me use their clips on their videos. And I screwed up with Dan and didn't give him full credit on my Dave Banter video, and I feel sorry about that. And I apologize to him in person about it. So
but he's still letting me use the clips. So hopefully we're, work together, and I'll drive traffic to their pulling reference, his pulling reference site, and then Charles Posh's pulling reference site, or his pulling site also. So.
Yeah, Dan's a phenomenal guy. I think that would be an amazing time just to sit and listen to you two go back and forth about the forthcomings of tractor pulling.
He's on my list, but man, he's so busy. I don't know when I would get a hold of him.
Chris wants to know any updates on the Banter Brothers Brown tractor.
Okay, so that one, the triple engine Banter Brown, like the first Banter Brown, is in John Nowacki's shop right now getting built. So if you look on my Facebook page, I put some pictures up about it, where we had Brad Corporal, Bill Noland, who used to drive for the Banners, John Nowacki, who has a bunch of monster trucks. He's done a bunch of tractors, and he has this Banter Brown tractor, and Dave Banner was there also. So John is hoping to have this tractor ready to go this summer, and maybe have Dave drive it, which would be unreal.
That's awesome. Watching that clip there at the beginning with the Banter Brothers, that's just awesome. Seeing all the creativity that they put into it, and just the love for pulling that shows. Yeah,
I mean, when I got to sit with Dave Banner, and I pulled up to his house as a complete stranger, and he said yes. These people are so nice and so friendly. We've even had people that we haven't met yet that says, hey, if you don't have any place to stay, you can stay here at our house overnight. That's happened a couple of times. These people are just so giving and loving. They feed us. They let us stay at their house for like 6 hours, like way longer than we're supposed to, and it's just so much fun. You make like instant friends already. We've made so many friends with this. That's
what it is. The pulling community is one big family.
Right. So that's why hopefully with these videos getting out there, that people will get back into the sport again. And I think one thing that might help is, like, when I was a kid, the billboards on advertising really helped. So I drive into Chicago every night. And when Chicago had the NASCAR street races going on, they had a billboard going into town that was not one of the electronic ones. It was a paper one, and it stayed up there all the time, showing the date, the time, and a big picture of a NASCAR car. So every time you drive into the city, you would see that billboard. And I think if we had billboards like that on like the major highways 2 or 3 hours away from the facility, it would be a constant reminder to people to help grow this sport. Because when I drive into Chicago and I see that date and time and that picture of that NASCAR car, it reminded me this is coming up. So
yeah, definitely. That's what my whole goal is try to bring as many people to the sport, because without the fans, we're just a bunch of guys out here spending money.
Yeah, it's too great a sport to not be better known. I mean, when you can watch 5 engines on one tractor go down a track, it's more horsepower than a nitro top fuel car, Yeah.
No, I think the sports it's definitely not done. There's a lot of big stuff coming in its future.
Oh yeah. And I mean, the amount of money these guys spend on haulers, it's when you go to one of these newer pulls, it's unbelievable. The craftsmanship, the paint, the chrome, the toter homes. I took a guy for the first time in a long time, and he couldn't get over it, how cool it was. Just the whole environment.
That's awesome. Robert Miner wants to know, you track down the vehicles. Where's some of the old sleds from back in that day?
So we had Jim Lutke come to our reunion. He's another one I got to get to. And so he still has their first pulling sled. And he's invited me over to his place, but now it's getting cold again. So we might wait till, March or April, because a lot of obviously the sled stuff's going to be outside. So I've got that one, and I've got Ron Hickson's name down. I don't even know if he's still alive or not, but we got that their sled written down. There's a couple other ones. I have to go through my sled list and look at it, but I do have a sled list. So
yeah, that's just as cool. Like we bought the truck came out of Texas. It was Kenneth Popham's, but before that, it was the Fast Forward truck of Jim Lyons.
okay.
And just when we had it, I mean, we made several updates to it, but how the sled technology is pulling sleds from back when that truck was in its heyday in the late 90s, early 2000s to where the sleds are to today. So,
yeah, it's vastly different because when I was a kid in the 80s, it was like a steady pull. You know, they started and just pulled, and it was about 180 indoor foot track when we saw them, and they didn't take off and raise the pan up a whole lot. I mean, they wanted to, but it was, you know, you got to get the weight on the guys quick because you're only 180 feet indoors. But now there's so much horsepower. They had to put the bars under the sled and get these things heavy to stop these guys because it's almost like drag racing where the horsepower just keeps going and going and going and doesn't seem to stop no matter what the limits are.
Yeah, the technology comparing kind of some of the guys that were at the forefront of the sport in the 80s to now, the fundamental principles are still the same. The horsepower has just gone through the roof, though.
Yeah. And if you can get to a pool like Toma or Farley and you can get in the pits and you can see this stuff up close and see how it works. You can talk to, you know, the Leichners. You can talk to Simon. You can talk. These guys are readily available to talk to. It's not like when you go to a race and you have to sit in the stands. You can go in the pits and talk to these guys. And they're so nice. They'll give you you can ask them any question you want. That's another thing I love about this.
Yes, exactly. It's not like dirt track where you have to pay for where they nickel and dime you for a pit pass and all that. No, you go back there and you see these wonderful machines up close in person.
Yeah, they'll let you take pictures and video. And sometimes when I'm doing a video on somebody, I'm like, hey, do you want me to not video this? He's like, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. He's like, it's out there for everybody to see. So go ahead. You know, that's what happened when we did the Kalen Dews, the van, when they had the engine out of the truck and you could see like the innards of the whole thing. I was like, do you want me to video this or not? He's like, don't matter. It's fine. Go ahead. So
that's awesome.
Yep.
I mean, you're big into the pulling, but we also see every now and again, we'll get something that treats us like a good old trip to the Bigfoot. Tell us a little bit about your projects that aren't the tractor pulling flavor.
All right. So like one of the guys that kind of got me doing the YouTube thing was Cletus McFarland. So I loved him since he bought that NASCAR truck and been watching every single video he puts out and just the way he does stuff, the intros, the outros. So I kind of followed his lead on some of that stuff and how it works and just being positive, you know, no bad comments, nothing like that, you know. Try to even bring a little faith into things sometimes. And so we watch a lot of him. We'll go to his shows. We go to mud bogs. I take my wheelies that I got behind me through the mud a bunch. You'll see some videos on that. We do car shows, PRI show, bunch of Jeep stuff. Like this weekend, I've got a Christmas tree in the back of my truck, and we're going to go to a run of 500 Jeeps where a Toys for Tots run with my Jeeps on the Run Club, where we will fill about 2.5 semis full of toys for these kids for this winter, this Christmas.
What a beautiful Jeep it is there too.
Yeah, I've had that. I bought that when I was 15.
Wow.
Still just drove it yesterday. So we fix cars, you know, I do a lot of car fixing stuff, and people seem to appreciate that too. Like I'll do a pretty detailed video on, let's say, the rear brakes on a 21 Ford Ranger, and there's some things you got to know. And since my brother-in-law is a master mechanic, he lets me use his program for that. And so I get a lot of tips and tricks on how to fix some of the newer stuff that's it's kind of complicated. A brake job's not just a brake job anymore. You have to have almost a scanner to reset the pads, reset the calipers, and there's ways to do stuff. And, you know, through him letting me use some time through some tools and all that, I'm able to help people with fixing cars even. So we love doing that too.
Yeah, that's awesome. Jason, you might have to help me out on this one. This one might have been before my time. What's Chris asking about here?
Were you at the Hall of Fame event where Derek Beery drove Black Stallion?
No, I wasn't. The Hall of Fame, I've been, we just went to that one last 2 weeks ago, the Bigfoot, or not Bigfoot, the Jeff Cook Museum. Is that what he's talking about?
I'm assuming, because Chris is like, he's a nerd like this, like you are, Rob, with this history stuff.
Oh, I know.
We should have Dan Mayer like hold a reunion of you guys and just put you in a row, and it'd be funny. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I met Chris at the Bigfoot open house. He's a great guy, and the guys that comment, I look at every comment, and I know the guys who comment a lot, and Chris is one of those guys. So it's fun to meet these guys when we go to like the Bigfoot open house or something like that.
Yeah, I got to know Chris. Chris works for us at Full Pull Live. He comes run camera for us when we're in Ohio and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Lee Benson mentioned here making a return out on the West Coast. Yep, that's where the good old truck went. Loaded it up there and headed out west. So it's good to see that starting to come back out there on the West Coast with stuff. There's got to be some good pulling vehicles hiding out there.
Oh, I've been talking to the Jason Ingram, and he posts a lot. He changes his profile picture almost every day with a different truck. So I got to talk to him for a couple hours on the phone the other night, and he loves this stuff as much as I do. Is like finding where the stuff's laying in the weeds and who has it and where did it go and the history on all these trucks. So yeah, it's been fun getting to know him too. So check out his Facebook page, that Jason Ingram on Facebook. He's got all the West Coast stuff covered for sure.
Yeah. So that would be interesting to kind of, like Jason mentioned earlier, take all of these older vehicles and the ones that are still around and just put on a showcase of kind of how the vehicles have changed throughout the years. Line them, get like a vehicle from every 10 years and line them all up.
Yep. I wish I had the money and a shop where I could these ones that I find, like that Sundance Kid we found, the 2-wheel drive, the body. I mean, there's almost nothing left of it, but a little piece of the back is still original. And just, put this all stuff in a museum somewhere too. But there's no time and money for that right now.
So you do your best you can with getting it all documented and stuff.
Yep. We got it on video, so hey, it's still there that way, and then everybody can see it too. So
yeah, that's awesome.
I'm always looking for, if somebody knows where something's sitting in the weeds, let me know.
So if you could resurrect one of these older vehicles that you've done or not, that's still around or not, which vehicle would you pick?
Like, which one do you want to drive, Rob? What do you want to drive, Rob?
Orange Blossom Special 2 in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There you go with that one.
That one right there.
Go wrong.
I mean, pulling a wheelie, and one of the cool things I found out about that truck is, do you guys know why he would put the floodlights on the front of it and not the headlights when he would pull?
Let's hear.
So he's pulling a wheelie, can't see where he's going. He didn't have a hole cut in the floor. So he would, before the front end raises up, he would put those lights on and he would look at something about 30 to 40 to 50 feet above that. And that would be his guide as an aim for steering it. So the headlights would shine on that object at the end of the arena, and he knew whether to go left or right from those floodlights on the front. That's how he steered it.
Wow. That's awesome. That's a whole different driving style compared to some of the guys of today. Like,
yeah,
not that the sport's gone backwards with driving style, but some of these older guys, just the technique was so much more that you had to utilize everything that vehicle was going through, and you couldn't just use horsepower in it as an excuse to get out of it.
Right. Well, when you sit in, I got to sit in the Orange Blossom Special too, and there's switches and levers and tanks. There's a tank up underneath the dash that's, I don't even know what that's for, but you got the sliding rack of weights in the back. You got so much going on, Yep.
That's awesome.
Wow.
All right, so
that
we
is
have 10 minutes left with
cool.
Rob. Logan, let's get through some of your pictures of the Make and Bacon special, and then we can and Rob can talk about his stories a little bit. You guys need to go check out Rob Guy's Garage on YouTube. Watch all these videos. We're just sharing some of them behind the scene right now. Rob's up there in the top left corner sharing his stories. This is a passion project. I love it. I absolutely love it. So I'll stop sharing my screen right now. Lacey Wager is coming on in about 10 minutes. He's your Outlaw Pro Stock champion, and he's a promoter now, too, with some breaking news. White Wright, Texas is moving to Colbert, Oklahoma. We'll talk about that here in a few minutes. So, Logan, can you put up some of your pictures, boss, of your tractor?
Yeah. So, I don't have too many current ones, but just looking at some of the older ones here.
And Rob, if you know any history of these pictures or where they were or what year, that would be great to hear some of that. So.
Yeah, years I'm not real familiar with, but Jill would be the best one for those. But
yeah,
that's so he painted it yellow first, and then they got the Carhartt sponsorship, yeah, and that's how it got sold. And then it went to Carl Bilski, I believe, and so there was a couple different ones
right there. The Sandman.
Yep. The Sandman, yep. And then you guys, how did you guys get it?
So we bought it from Carl Bilski as a rolling vehicle, no motors. And here coming up soon, there is one untouched motor off of that tractor whenever Carl bought it from Bruce. One untouched Rodec that we're going to pick up, and it's the only last one in existence. So we'll have one original motor plus the tractor there.
That's cool. Love it. So we got to get out and do a video with you guys now.
That's what it sounds like with stuff. Might be a little bit of a jog, but looking at it, what's all changed is we split the front two motors apart just for ease of working on, but I saw you had a picture there of whenever they had just built the tractor and there was no motors and the chassis wasn't even painted, but all of the tabs are still on the tractor. So we could put that tractor right back together to where it was in a heartbeat. And that might just be a thing to do here coming up.
I think that would be awesome. I mean, do you still have the square air filters too? Or the rectangular air filters?
I believe we have a couple of, so he ran what was considered the Enderley uprights, and that's what's on the tractor right now.
Okay.
So
and you still have that fuel tank too, right?
We do still have the triangle tank that sets out front. We got the side skirting that goes down the rails. We got everything for that tractor there.
Okay. Well, you have to send me. So we're going to do a part 2 to this. If you can send me some pictures, we'll add your pictures at the beginning of part 2 to let people know where it is now for sure.
Yep, we can do that. Everything down to that little square fuel tank there in front of the 4th and 5th motors there off to the side. So basically what we've done is we took and we split the front two apart, and the cross box that's on it is off of some may know as Bruce Slaw's last 5-engine mod.
Ooh, okay.
That he ran there in the 2007 range. Dad bought that from him. So the tractor in the current configuration could take up to 5 motors.
Wow. That's so
Pass
cool.
the hat, Logan. Pass the hat. Time to go unlimited.
Have you ever driven, what's the most engines you've driven?
So in the early days, I'll have to go and find the video of it, but Dad loaded 4 on there and pulled at Wheatland back with the old configuration. So I will find that video and we will post that later on this week.
All right, cool.
But
is it cool if I use that on the video?
Say that again.
Is it all right if I use that on the part 2 video?
Yeah,
okay.
100%.
All right. Cool.
So that it's had 4 can take up to 5. So that's one of those deals where if we could run 5 Chevys against 4 Hemis, we'd sell the minis off and do that in a heartbeat.
So Logan, I think they just announced that you can run 4 Chevys with 871s at a certain overdrive at the Outlaw Banquet this last weekend in the mod class for next year.
Uh-oh.
There you go.
I'm serious. I'm not, you guys know I'm not very mechanical. I'm jealous listening to people talk about that. I pay somebody to work on my tractor. I don't have time or the knowledge, but I'm pretty sure they passed that at the Outlaw Banquet, Logan. So,
Uh-oh.
That's got to be a crazy ride sitting behind 4 or 5 engines. I just can't even imagine it, you know?
There's 7 spare motors here for that tractor, so.
Wow. Yeah, we definitely got to get out your way and do a video. So, yeah.
I'll
You're
have
on the
to
list now.
confirm that knowledge there, and we might be making some winter project changes for this year.
Okay.
Rob, I can't believe like the amount of people. Like I'm 50, and I'm just not a pulling historian like other people my age or older. And I think I remember going with a kid, but like sports got so crazy. Then mom and dad got divorced, and then dad bought a tractor, his old D21, and then I started going back to Iowa from Wisconsin more. But, you know, there was no internet. Back then it was just a puller magazine. You know what I mean? I can't imagine what pulling could have been like if there would have been. I mean, but I suppose anything with social media like that now. But to have a YouTube channel and to see Jill Hutcherson post on your, you know, give it a thumbs up or give it a like or a comment, you know, that's got to make you feel cool. You know what I mean?
Like I said, I can't believe what's happening and the people I'm getting to meet. I'm just that kid that was in the stands. When you look at those stands in the 80s and there's like 50,000 people in a stadium and it's sold out. I was just one of those kids that's a fan, and now I get to meet these people. I'm so thankful and grateful to all these people that are opening up their house to us and let us in and everything. So it's unreal.
It's neat. Mike, like when I found out that Logan had the Make and Bacon special, and he's been helping with the podcast for almost a year now, I said, what? I thought we were better friends than that, but we really only talk on Monday nights. And
yeah,
Iowa State Fair was my pull as a kid. It was always right before school started back up. Dad would take me down there. We were good friends with Dad was good friends with George Henderson, the announcer, owned a couple of Case IH dealerships. And then the Rops had the Iron Elk tractor, and that was my favorite tractor. Like I sat on it every year at my birthday, the Iron Elk. I'm gonna let Warren Ropp drive my tractor someday. And we bought tractors. Dad did from Kelowna, from Riverside, or I think it was Riverside John Deere, I think was the name of it, or Kelowna. I don't remember, but just phenomenal memories. And like Warren, I saw him at the State Fair this year. I always go back and I help with the Outlaws and I get to announce a little bit, but I'm there with the live stream now. But Warren had an old helmet and like an old NTPA clock that he gave to one of the bars inside of the fairgrounds there, you know, for like some memory stuff. It was just super cool, Rob.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a passion project, buddy. So.
Yeah, these people don't realize like how they touch us as like when we grew up with this stuff, and you get to have like, you know, Gary Collins, you know, say, hey, I'll see you soon, buddy. Like it's what? No way. Come on.
We did some nostalgia shirts this year with Full Pull. And if people want to check them out, we did a Red Man shirt, a TNT shirt, and we got permission from all these places to do this. And we did a Sassy shirt. We did a Gary Collins shirt, and then we're giving money back to the people that, you know, have that, like a commission type of a thing. So we have those at our fullpull.us website. So if you want to go check those out, it's almost Black Friday. I forgot about that. So that's
Jason, I don't think we allotted enough time for this. We'll have to get you back on.
No, sir. When I messaged you, and I wanted to get Lacey on because Lacey's got a cool story. They came out of sprint car racing. They were at Tim Engler's Dyno-In. Now the guy shows up at 2 Pro Stocks and just wins the Outlaw points. He's a badass. And now they're going to promote as well. So I love Lacey Wager. I love people with passion at getting in the sport and giving back as well as a promoter. But when I was messaging you today on Messenger, I'm like, what do we, 45 minutes? I'm like, I don't think that's going to be enough. I don't think that's going to be enough. So,
well,
I think we need to have Rob. Rob, whenever you have a new video coming out or whatever, just let us know.
This has been awesome.
We'll just bring you on for 5 or 10 minutes. Normally during segments, you know, normally pull-in's a little busier. We do different segments and stuff like that. But this time of year, I like to do longer interviews like this. So I hope you pick up more subscribers from tonight. I hope more people get involved. I hope more people comment and send you stuff. And I got some ideas peeling around, Rob. I'm going to reach out to you. So
I really appreciate you guys doing this. This is awesome.
Awesome.
Jason's your guy. He's the social media guru.
Oh no, I'm not your guy, but I know a lot. I mean, we know a lot of the same people, Rob. But there's other ideas floating around in my head right now that I want to talk to you about. So
Hey, I take any suggestion I can get. That's for sure. So
I like
I
it.
appreciate Logan reaching out to me too.
So, Rob, give a shout out again. Your Facebook page. Let me find my comment. I started up here at the top. How can people?
Facebook, it's the same as the YouTube channel, just Rob Guy's Garage, and it's all one word, Rob Guy. So it was a nickname my buddies gave me. We had a Jeff Guy and a Nate Guy, and I was Rob Guy. So that's how that came around. So
were you guys drinking beer, I hope, when you came up with that?
Well, who knows? You never know, but
no, that's solid.
That's awesome. Thanks, Rob. It's been a great time. Real quick, who do you need to thank with stuff?
My wife, first of all, so she puts up with all this, letting me go. I mean, I'm gone quite a bit now too. So, and my girls too. So, and like I said, Dan Mayer, Charles Posh, let me use their stuff, and just all the wonderful people we've met, Jill and the Bargies and Banners and John Nowacki, and just all these people letting us into their lives. It's just been great, and you guys reaching out tonight has been great. So I appreciate that too.
Real quick, Rob, and I'm sorry. I hate when I see a comment. I don't know. I don't want to say this wrong. People say the good old days.
Yeah.
And I'm offended because I kind of consider myself a modern day puller.
Yeah.
Why? Is it just because we were younger and, and we didn't have as many cares in the world? We didn't have social media and you could go to a pull and enjoy. Why is the past always the good old days? I don't understand that. Can you explain that to me? What is that mindset of people? Because it kind of makes me mad. Like, I'm spending a lot of money to go pulling for you guys, and we're still, maybe the good old days is because the purse money is the same as it was back then.
Yeah.
What does the good old days mean, Rob? I think when I'm grumpy at my real job or a mortgage is going sideways, I get a little pissy. But when I see that comment, I miss the good old days, or I wish we could go back. What when you hear that, what does that mean to you, Rob?
Well, I even hear that from like my parents and like even like grandparents. Everyone goes back to when they were a kid. I think everything goes back to when you were a kid and you were first impressionable, and the things that you loved, that's your time in history. Like me in the 80s with this Orange Blossom special, right? I'm like stuck in the 80s, I guess. I don't know. But
no. I want to know the psyche of it, because if I sat on a pulling tractor today without a roll cage, I would freak.
No way.
It just wouldn't feel right. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
I think the hard thing is,
so people aren't picking on today's puller. They're going back to their childhood, those good core memories, maybe when life was easier. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, and these guys, I mean, the guys do today too. They put every stick of metal, every tube. They had to make this stuff. And when you look at what these guys didn't have to work with the internet, and I'm amazed at, like, I even asked like Gary Collins, like, how did you get superchargers out here in the middle of nowhere with no internet? How did that happen? And, like, where did you guys get these parts? And to make 4 and 5 engines run together back in the 70s and 80s with no CAD, you had to make all this stuff, and that's what I got like such a huge, just admiration for, like, Ralph Banter and making these boxes and making this stuff out of metal and it failing and then having to go back and heat treat it and redo it. And, now you can buy like a nice cross box. You can buy all that stuff, but you still have to put it all together. I'm not taking anything away from the new guys at all. It's still money, time, a lot of effort. But I think we just look back at, like, these were just, a lot of them were just farmers putting stuff together, and they made it work. And it amazes me today.
Yeah, no, that's neat. Rob, we're going to have you back on. I love your story. Keep it
Thank
up,
you, man. Yeah.
So we're going to here. Thank you for your time, Rob.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, and drive safe. Drive safe. If you drive in Chicago, you got way more patience than I do, buddy. So
every night.
I specifically time my trips through Chicago after like 9 o'clock at night or super early in the morning, just because I can't handle that. So
I'll be down there tonight. So, yep.
All right, buddy. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, Rob.
See ya.
Thank you. Thanks.
That, Logan Stephens, was a good interview, my man. I love that.
That was phenomenal. Rob Reed with Rob Guy's Garage. What an interview.
Check him out. He said he's got 6 months of